This little guy was crazy for Christmas. We used to wrap his presents in lead foil so he couldn't peek.
You mean Santa wrapped them?
Oh, of course, dear.
Tom.
Jeff.
Tom, season's greetings, Tom. Season's greetings to each and every one of you, Tom. You'll never guess what time it is right now.
Is it Christmas? Man, I feel like it was just Christmas.
Yeah, well, time is a flat circle.
That's true. That's true.
Around for a while. But no, Tom, this is actually very, very interesting, but it's time for another episode of Tom and Jeff Watch Batman.
Oh, shit.
And of course, as you and I know, we are always punctual and right on time. So we are going to be bringing you the standalone episode, the only standalone episode of Justice League Season 2, Comfort and Joy, a Christmas tale penned by Paul Dini because it would be illegal if he didn't write it.
He has to write like every Christmas episode.
Yeah. It's like, is there going to be like a sad stuff in there? Like, oh, for sure. Like, throw Dini in there. He knows how to do it.
No, it's going to end with Martian Manhunter singing the song of his people while petting a cat.
Yep. In his original monster form.
Sitting naked in a barn.
Just a monster. Okay, all right. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. Only to the end of the show. Comfort and Joy starts on what is essentially like habitable Hoth.
Yeah, they're like
or like the Alps, if the Alps was a planet.
They're building a gravity machine for these little crab squid people.
Yeah, these like little blue like from the Max or whatever.
Why do they live on an ice planet? Like they don't.
Yeah,
they don't look suited to it at all.
Yeah.
Did you guys get stuck here?
Yeah. Are you marooned on hell? Because I feel like. And basically, Martian Manhunter is sort of like the mental crux that is like communicating all the information that they have with the information that is being provided. It's like a whole thing. Mm-hmm. And they're building a gravitational device because this one planet is about to crash into this fucking planet.
Yeah.
It's intense. It's very close. The fact that everybody isn't already dead is very strange to me.
It's close enough that it would have already been a serious problem.
Yeah. There would have been... thank God it's an ice planet because the tidal waves would have been...
I was about to say, like, the ocean would have just shot up into the air.
I mean, it's close, folks. It's real close.
Yeah. It's...
So, basically, the big guns are moving the big pieces, and then Flash is like kind of like piecing all the small pieces together real fast because the information is being provided to him. And yet, the creepy little spiders are saved.
Yeah,
and
hooray!
They fix it. Who they knew how to build an anti-grav device, but they couldn't.
Didn't or couldn't. One of the two.
They're like, look, we have the theory. Whether we have the practice is something totally different.
Yeah. It's,
so anyway,
both explanations are stupid.
So they're all like done. They're wrapping up and they're like, pizza party or whatever, you know? And then Green Lantern gets all distracted. And he's like, oh, I'll catch up later. And Hawkgirl's like, oh, I'm going to catch a ride home with him. I'm going to go suck his very cold dick.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna be ice cold.
Yeah,
it's gonna have a little green force field around it.
green glowing snow suit on it. A little furry collar around it.
Don't laugh. It's cold.
Come on, man.
We're on a planet made of ice.
Yeah, we're on a planet made of ice. You respect me. Look at me. I'm wearing pajamas, for God's sake. Flash is like, hey, John, you got any plans for Christmas?
Yeah.
And John's like, no, because...
I like that they're like, let's go home and celebrate our Christian God, and like one half of their group are literal aliens.
Yeah. And like, you know, John's like, no, this season has no meaning for me. And then he gets on the ship.
Like, even if he wasn't an alien, like, Flash is, like, right in his face, like, so, John, any plans for the holidays? And it's like, Flash, what is the one thing you know about Martian Manhunter?
What do you unpack every time he talks?
His entire family is dead.
Yes.
Why would he have plans on Christmas?
Yeah, we're celebrating Saint Nicholas. Saint, oh no.
No, John Travolta's Howard Saint laid my family to ruins.
Howard Saint Nicholas took out the entirety of my Martian family.
Yeah, no, his holiday plans involve a bottle of whiskey and a revolver.
100%. There's a 0% chance that he's not just sitting there being like, I would like to die, but my body won't let me. So Flash goes, whoa, Frosty. And Superman goes, well, we'll have to do something about that. And it's like, oh, God, Clark, what are you going to do? What are you going to do, Clark?
This episode provides some fascinating windows into Clark's life.
We've been more accurate than we could have ever thought.
I know.
In regards to Clark.
I had to, like, pause the episode. I was like, wait.
Yeah. Something gets slipped by that we're going to talk about in a couple minutes, and you're going to be like, huh.
Yeah, how is that not the focus of the entire episode?
Yeah. Yeah, that should have been an intervention after that. Okay, so Clark. We have the credits. So it cuts to the credits, and then it cuts to Green Lantern snowboarding on the ice planet, basically chasing around indigenous creatures, like harassing them.
Yeah, he's just harassing the local wildlife.
Yeah, the local fauna is being terrorized by a space policeman.
That's great. They can't even complain.
And then Hawkgirl makes fun of him for like enjoying snow. And so he shows her how fun snow can be by making a snowman with his ring, which kind of defeats the purpose of a snowman.
Yeah.
It's like it's all about like the process, and instead he just like takes 3 giant mounds of snow and he Green Lanterns. He literally makes an energy snowman out of it.
Right. That's like using his ring to immediately assemble a jigsaw puzzle. It's like, well, yeah, you're kind of missing the point, dude.
Yeah,
I would expect nothing less from a man who lives in a brick apartment with nothing but Marine Corps posters on the walls.
Yeah. There you go. Your snowman's made. Now let's get out of here. But it is funny that it's like watching John try to have levity, and it's like looking at a duck drive a car.
Yeah.
You're just like, that doesn't seem like I'm seeing it happen, but it doesn't seem right.
Yeah, I'm uncomfortable. I can tell he's uncomfortable.
Yeah, because he's like, oh, the snow reminds me of hanging out with my aunt. And it's like, did you not have a family?
Maybe he didn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not trying to shame him or anything.
Maybe John Travolta as Howard Saint paid him a visit when he was a child.
You know him too. So then he like shows her how to make a snow angel, and she's like, he's like, look, I made wings. And she's like, here's the thing. You need to cut this shit out right now. And then he throws a snowball at the back of her head, and I'm like, dude, you're asking to get the shit kicked out of you right now.
Like she's already not feeling it. And then you're like, I know what'll get her in the mood. Just fucking nail her in the back of the head with a snowball.
This will get her happy.
If somebody's already not feeling it, like that's not the way to get them on board. Hitting someone in the back of the head with anything is...
Yeah, maybe some apple cider would be a good way to get her in the mood.
You'll think this is great. I'll put a rock in this one.
Yeah, come on. A nice little playful assault. So she's like, oh, okay. And then she takes her wing and fucking covers him in snow. Yes. She like plows him, and he like pops out using like a force field, and his immediate reaction in like the wide shot is a rage face. Like his face coming up is so angry, and then when it cuts to his face, he's smiling. But for a split second, it's got that like, how dare you make me bleed my own blood situation. Where he's like, how dare you? That's not whimsy. After he's trying to explain to her Christmas and snow, and she's like, I'm not from here.
Yeah, this feels stupid.
How dare you?
The watch me build the snowman.
Yeah. Watch me build a snowman in about 8 seconds. This is fun, isn't it?
See, isn't it fun?
We're all having fun.
Takes out his little torture devices and starts using them on the snowman.
Puts a gun to her head. Now we're having fun, aren't we? Now it cuts to the Central City orphanage, and the Flash shows up. And he shows up, and the kids are like, yay! And he's like, what kind of toy do you want? And they're like, we like this DJ Rubber Ducky.
I want DJ Rubber Ducky to be a real property that I can support with my money.
It is, without a doubt, an event. It was sort of like if Ren and Stimpy was made in earnest. That would essentially be... Like, people saw Ren and Stimpy and they were like, we need to capitalize. What do we do? How about making an 80s style hip hop rubber duck that farts? And it's like, it
was just like the show gets interrupted because the kids have to show him an episode of DJ Rubber Ducky. It's just this random tirade in the middle of a Justice League episode of this duck. This duck who's just decked out like one of the Fat Boys, like you said, like an 80s hip hop star, and then starts doing a "My name is Ducky and I'm here to say" kind of rap.
I'm here to say rap, and you're like,
and then he bends over and just starts making fart noises, like continuously, and these kids are dancing around him.
Yeah, like it really does. I mean, shout out to them for capturing the zeitgeist because all of those kids are into it.
Yeah.
Like, this thing is a phenomenon.
No, this is the Tickle Me Elmo of this holiday season. Yeah.
It sure is, because every store, as we find out from the marm at the orphanage, has been sold out for weeks.
So Flash has to run to Japan.
Flash runs to Japan
to get
for just a little bit of... They just need to squeeze a little bit of, like, is this racist? In the middle of the episode, where you're like... Okay, he's in Japan because that's where they make toys in the factory, apparently. And then also there's a lot of like bowing, and I think he calls him like Flash-san.
Oh, I don't know. It was
like,
that is weird.
But,
like, why was that? Like, was it supposed to be a Pokemon reference? Like, why would DJ Rubber Ducky be made in Japan?
Well, I mean, Japan generally was really big on consumer electronics, but he would be produced in China.
Yeah.
There is a 0% chance that DJ Rubber Ducky is being, cranked out on the island of Hokkaido.
Right, because they do like a weird Santa fake out where he looks at a Santa and he's like, I'll go to the source. And then it cuts to a snow-covered mountain, which I guess is Mount Fuji.
Yeah.
And then it just pans down. It's like, nope, he actually just ran to Japan to the factory where they make them.
He 100% did.
He's not going to go see Santa. Santa is not in this episode.
Yeah. So he is referenced pretty heavily.
Oh, yeah.
Because now we have what is ultimately the most awkward of the three storylines. In a episode of three awkward storylines, This is the most awkward. It's Superman, and he is bringing Martian Manhunter to Smallville to the farm.
Mm-hmm. And Martian Manhunter does not change his clothes.
Okay, so I have that in all caps.
Like Clark Kent, he's going home to Smallville as Clark Kent. His identity is still secret, and fucking Martian Manhunter is following him into the Kent house, wearing his nipple belt and his cape and his little shorts.
And we know he is a giant.
Yeah,
you can't see him through the whole door. And he's wearing his little costume, and he looks like such a bummer. He doesn't even smile in the greeting. He's like, yes, hello.
Clark said I should come celebrate Christmas here, so I am here. He just stares at the wall for 3 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Clark told me to be here. I'm like, I'm pretty sure the cover's blown.
Yeah.
Hey, did you guys see a... demon went over to the old Clark Kent household.
Yeah, Clark Kent brought a 7-foot pro wrestler home for Christmas.
The one from the news. Oh, can he not turn into a human or something? Oh no, he exclusively can and does.
Yeah, he definitely
later
can.
in the episode.
He just
He can turn
decided
himself
not
into
to.
he can turn himself into any embodiment of a serial killer that he wants, as we will find out.
He really does. He turns himself into the creepiest looking dude.
I saw this man in the newspaper.
He was
I
all
didn't
over
read
the
the
news
article.
for several weeks in the 1960s.
He was murdered by cops. No way anybody will confuse me with him. So it turns out he's like, "Where's Kara?" And they're like, "She's out skiing with Barbara." And he's like, "Great, you can sleep in her room." And he's like, "Good." And then Martian Manhunter goes, "Nice and cozy. How odd to hear you talk like this, Clark." And he's like, "That's man, that's why I come home from the holidays. I can be myself." And at that point in time, John should have been like, "Who are you being on the watchtower then?"
Right. What performance is this benefiting? I don't. Who is this? Who is this for? Like, who are you pretending to be when you're with us?
Yeah, like what? Is there a thing where you're not allowed to have joy in front of the Flash or something? Like what,
you
what's
you
happening?
feel weird smiling in front of Hot Girl. It's me, isn't it? It's because I'm such a bummer.
Yeah,
It's
nice to see you act like a literal 80-year-old.
We're about to get to that, but yeah, I like the idea that like when he's Superman, like he does something strange, like he just refuses to fart or something when he's Superman, and just waits till he comes home to Smallville as Clark Kent, or I don't know,
Just
something,
shredding them.
some fucking weird thing.
Just some weird Kryptonian farts that just like tear the fabric of Kent reality.
Or like he never wears the color yellow except when he comes home or something like that. It's just something weird. I don't know.
It's weird. So Kara has an NSYNC kind of poster, like a boy band poster, that has, I don't know if you noticed the bottom left hand character in that poster, but that is a full-grown balding man. And I am 99% sure before I even wrote this, found out who wrote this episode, I was like, that looks like Paul Dini. And then I looked into this and he wrote the episode. So I'm pretty sure the animators put Paul Dini on the NSYNC poster. And I think that's so fucking funny.
It is really good.
There's also a stuffed animal that he looks at on her bed. And there's a 0% chance that you're going to know this, but it was Zook. And Zook was like Martian Manhunter's sidekick in like the Silver Age.
Oh, wow. Yeah, there's no way I would have known that.
Yeah, it was just a nice little Easter egg. They sneak a couple of Easter eggs in there too. A cat comes in, looks at him, and then freaks the fuck out.
Because
And
he's
we're
a
gonna
demon.
find out. And we're gonna find out later that he's in his like demon out like view. His like his original Martian thing, and the cat's into that, which means it really just hates his outfit.
Yeah, no, it's his outfit is it's like being assaulted.
He's like the
him
feline,
walking and
he's like
wearing
the,
that outfit is a felony.
He's like the feline Joan Rivers. He's like, you look hideous. So now it cuts to Green Lantern and Hawk Girl, and they're having an asshole snow battle
Yes.
on that planet. They were like just being pricks.
How must that look to the society of aliens they just rescued by building this gravitational device in the nick of time to avoid crashing into another planet? And now two of these jabronis are just fucking playing and grab ass in the snow. Like,
Yeah. I mean, we're grateful. Don't get us wrong.
but I'm just like, what must that look like to them?
But what are you doing?
This
Like,
seems
what are you
inappropriate.
doing? Stop it.
Please go someplace else. My wife was killed in this tragedy, in this disaster.
By one of your snowballs, actually.
No.
It is funny. It's one of the only times I see Green Lantern be creative, when he has like a million little hands throw snowballs, and he has like a catapult. And it's like, oh, you're actually using your powers creatively. Good for you.
Yeah, good thing you saved
Instead
that battlefield strategy for the snowball fight.
Yeah, for your girlfriend.
You fucking asshole.
so you can more effectively punish your girlfriend's face with cold. And then he's like, oh, come on. Like he's basically like talking about nostalgia and like, don't you have a way to like celebrate like, family and stuff like that? And she's like, well, my friends and I back in Thanagar used to celebrate our victories at this, basically the fucking dive bar of a moon, in the Omega Quadrant, the third moon of fucking, I don't know, Gaius or something like that. And it's weird. And so they decide that they're going to go to this moon. Meanwhile, Flash is running through the city, and there is a toy store riot because they are sold out. And there is a group of people trying to kill the manager of a store. So the Flash shows up and then leaves. And that manager must be like, hey, a little help? They're trying to kill me. And Flash is like, I got stuff to do, man. You're on your own. Like they're literally trying to crash in the doors, and the guy's like, I don't have any, I'm sold out. But also there's a manager trying to prevent people from coming into his store in general,
Right,
which
yeah,
I
he's
thought
just
was
closing the entire store. He's
Yeah.
cutting his losses.
But the Flash comes by and he's just like, do you have any? And he's like, no, and they're gonna kill me because I don't. He's like, all right, well, good luck with that, bye.
He's already gone.
And it's like, do you not know what your job
Please
is,
help,
Flash?
crime is happening.
Yeah, is this crime okay? He's like, it's not okay. I'm gonna die. And he's like, well, I guess you're gonna die. Okay, bye. And then takes off. And then he goes to Japan, which is the last one that they have is in the factory. And I'm like, that is not true.
And he just hands him a loose doll.
A loose one. Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Also, this doll is like 2.5 feet tall.
It's not small.
This is an enormous.
It's not small.
It is the size of Flash's entire torso.
It is about like if a Teddy Ruxpin was standing straight.
Yeah,
Like standing fully up. That's about the size of it. It's not a small.
it's a toddler-sized toy.
It's a massive farting plastic duck.
I want this program to be real. This duck spitting
I wanna
shitty fucking 40-year-old raps and just farting on joyful children. Just so excited to be close to DJ Rubber Ducky.
Just like it's just essentially they're like making an early Biz Markie album, essentially. Like, what's the plot of the episode, though? Like, that's what I want to know. Like, all right, Deanie, write your plot. Let's see what you got.
I don't know, man. This episode's all over the place.
It's like that classic Hemingway story of him. I bet you can't write a story in 6 words or less. Bet you can't write a story about a farting anthropomorphic rapping duck.
Challenge accepted.
For sale. DJ Rubber Ducky.
Fucking DJ
Never
Rubber
worn.
Ducky.
So then it cuts to the Kent dinner, and they're all laughing, and Jean's kind of like getting into it, And then they're like, "Oh, we had to wrap his presents in lead-lined paper, so he wouldn't know what we got him." And Tom, Clark, just all of a sudden like perks up, all indignant, and he goes, "You mean that Santa got me?"
Yeah. You mean that Santa wrapped him?
And everybody should be just kind of like nervously looking at each other like, because like I feel like at this point in time, if Clark finds out Superman isn't real, people are going to get hurt.
Yeah, no, it's not even Christmas.
Yeah,
Like every time he comes home, the Kents have to pretend it's Christmas. Like,
it's very Brightburn vibes.
yeah,
right
exactly. Yeah.
Here. Everything's okay. You mean Santa? It's like, Clark, do you believe in Santa?
It really seems like he does.
It seems like he does. And if he's like playing into it, because there's a part where like later they're like, we're going to decorate the tree. And he like sprints. He's like, oh, that's my job. And it's like, oh man, is he like
He's a baby. He's a big baby.
I was gonna say, is he gonna drink out of a juice cup
Yes.
in this? Like
He has a plastic sippy cup with 2 handles. He's gonna sit out there and put popcorn strings on a tree.
yeah. You know, Jean, I've been drinking from this cup for the past 30 years. And the Kents are like, help us. Help us. Read my mind.
We don't know how long this is gonna last. We don't know how long he lives.
We have so many of these cups because they keep breaking. Oh man. Okay, so they give Martian Manhunter a gift. By the way, they made him an ugly sweater, and it's a little big. Which I was also like, well, who did you make this for?
If it's
then?
too big for Martian Manhunter, who the fuck were you knitting this sweater for?
Yeah, well, we were going to give it to Doomsday, but the other Superman killed him. So we are going to give it to you. And so he like buffs out all huge and he's like, you know, I can fill it in.
Grow into it.
And I was like, man, you should be like that all the time because you look awesome.
Yeah, dude, you look sweet.
That also makes me like kind of think like, oh, so if his strength is constant no matter what size he is, he should make himself like really small.
Yeah.
But like mega strong.
Yeah, make himself like rabbit-sized.
Yeah, and it's just like this tiny little
Just
thing
really-
just fucking punching dudes' heads off and stuff.
Really fucking with people.
Yeah. Watching a tiny 1-foot man jump through your chest, come out on the back, and then punch you in the back of the head with the force of a bus. Like a true holiday nightmare indeed.
Yeah.
Running on all fours, even though he's a man.
Yeah. Just freakishly fast. Just galloping on his hands and feet.
with like a humanish face looking at you and talking to you. Running through shit. Like running through rocks and phasing through.
Martian Manhunter's primary weapon is psychological.
100%. He is, man, let me tell you. The fact that he chooses average-ish human size and body dimensions is such a loss for him.
I know he could do so much with that. It's
So
a shame Howard Saint had to stunt his creativity so early.
a 1-foot man that could lift an entire dump truck would be the most terrifying thing I could possibly fathom.
Just running on his hands and feet.
I'm coming for you. Oh, fuck. And then he just takes off and flies at you like a little plane. What if that's what he was? Just a little toy plane with a face talking to you and
Just
shit.
a little human face.
Yeah, just a little human face on a plane that's menacing you.
The Justice League's most cursed superhero.
Martian Nightmare.
Oh man, he could be doing so much more.
So many criminals would quit.
Yes.
Are you kidding me? If you're Captain Cold and this thing comes at you, you're like,
Be like,
fucking
fuck
nope.
it.
Fuck this. Fuck this. He flew through my ice beam. I have nothing.
I'm gonna go.
No God. I'm out.
I'm gonna go work at a bank. Fuck this.
Yeah. Fuck, I can't. I can't.
Just throws his freeze gun down.
Just turns it on himself and freezes his head off. Oh man. Okay. So Green Lantern and Hawk Girl are in that weird moon, and then like for some reason Swamp Thing walks by in the background.
Yeah, I don't know why Swamp Thing is partying at a distant moon.
Yeah, he is specifically
Like
a
Earth
fucking
protector
like
of Earth
an
nature.
Earth-
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the protector of the green on Earth. And there's also, I'm pretty sure they snuck a Warlord cameo in there, and Warlord is like a kind of Jim Starlin era, like kind of new modern age ish sort of character. which I was like, oh, good, that looks like Warlord. And then John is overwhelmed because Hot Girl is walking into a bar that essentially looks like Cheers, and she's like, hey, isn't this great? I'm about to fuck it up.
Yeah.
She guzzles some Flurm and rips a burp.
Yeah.
Just like like an offensive burp.
Yeah, shit flies out of her mouth.
Oh, God, yeah, it's real bad. Bunch of feathers come out of her mouth.
Yes.
Where'd that come from? And then she's like, try some Flurm. And he drinks and he's like, oh, this tastes like shit.
Tastes like
Real
shit.
good.
There's literal fucking worms in this. Why would you give me a mug of something that has worms in it?
Yeah, this ain't great at all.
It's actually horrible.
But he's horny, so he's like, oh.
Yeah.
Real
No,
nice.
he's...
And then Hot Girl's like, you know what would make this even better? And he's like, what? And she takes her mace and smashes it on the biggest dude
Yeah.
on his hand. And then he immediately tackles John.
Well, because she
just like,
hands him the mace and points at him.
Yeah. And so she like lets chaos happen. And like, you don't know if this guy has powers.
Right. Yeah. Like, this is a weird...
Like, what if that was a Doomsday or Lobo level
Yeah.
threat?
What if it was like Darkseid? You don't know this motherfucker. Like...
I'm picturing Darkseid going to like Cheers. I need the anti-sober equations.
Fucking Woody Harrelson slides him a beer.
Oh, man. She just watches the chaos. Then it cuts to Flash. He's returning to Central City, and there's an explosion in like a museum. And the Ultra Humanite is destroying a bunch of modern art because he's pissed about it on Christmas.
On Christmas Eve, this fucking monkey man put on his He-Man suit and decided to start melting art he doesn't like in the museum. It's...
Yeah. He really is insufferable.
Ultra Humanite is like the biggest dork.
Oh yeah, he's one of those guys. He's one of those guys that was like, I was the captain of my Quiz Bowl team.
Yeah.
And we're like, nobody cares, man.
Nobody gives a shit. He's a real I was practicing the blade type guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like, this isn't art. Where are the anime scrolls?
Yeah. Where's my Cowboy Bebop wall scroll?
None of this is on a pillow. How can I relate to it? And then basically Flash fucking slugs him and he lands on the toy and breaks it.
Yeah.
And then they get into this like real philosophical debate and Flash is like, look, man, I'm trying to do this because I don't know if you've heard about orphans, but they generally go in one of two directions in our universe.
Yeah, there's the orphans exist in an extreme spectrum in the world of superheroes.
They sure do. And he's like, look, man, I'm trying to give them goodwill so that they can eventually pass it on. And you can see Ultra Humanite, and he's like talking about how he hates Christmas and stuff, and he's really bah humbug. And Flash calls him an asshole. And he's like, you're fucking up these fucking orphan Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, these kids have nothing, and you took the one thing they could have had, you fucking jerk. And then he's like, you know what? Fucking, I don't care. Fuck you. Here, he's like, you know what? Go ahead, shoot me. He becomes like lightly suicidal.
Yeah, he's really distraught over the breaking of MC Rubber Ducky.
And so fucking Ultra Humanite just hits him with the butt of the gun and knocks him out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, gives him some bleeding on the brain.
Yeah. Then Flash wakes up and he's like, the duck is being fixed by Ultra Humanite. And they kind of call a truce. And then he's like, okay, but then why'd you hit me? And he goes, well, you hit me first.
He's
like, yeah, but
he's got a point.
But didn't you like shoot a bunch of stuff at him and collapse some stuff on him?
It's true. You did shoot a clock on his back and then try to blow him up.
Yeah. So then it cuts to Jean having his sort of like It's a Wonderful Life-ish moment by floating around the Kent's household like a ghost and spying on everybody.
Yeah, he haunts the Kents while they're making out in the kitchen. And then this is, oh my God. Clark is sitting cross-legged in front of the Christmas tree trying to use his X-ray vision on the presents. and he's like, lead. So the Kents still have to wrap their presents in lead because Clark is a giant baby.
That is so expensive, I'm guessing.
It's
I bet
lead.
each wrapping. How do they even cut it?
I don't know.
with their fucking baby son.
Yeah, their gigantic demon baby.
The exhaustion level is just out of control with this. But I also, he's like haunting their house as a guest, phasing through and shit. And then, so then he just decides he's gonna like go to Smallville, to downtown Smallville,
Main Street Smallville, which is like 3 buildings,
and takes the form of what looks like a serial killer.
Yeah, he takes the form of a photograph from a true crime documentary.
It's not good. It's not
he
good.
He really looks like a guy who left bodies on train tracks.
Yeah, there's not a lot that you can see. Like you know what he looks like is he looks like a bad guy from that new Perry Mason. I don't know if you saw that, but like that era. Like he looks like he belongs in that new Perry Mason show.
Right, yeah, which it takes place in the 40s, so it's he looks like a murderer from 80 years ago.
Yeah. He looks like he can't. What do you subscribe to? That he only gets wrestling magazines and serial killer magazines because those are the only 2 forms he knows how to take.
Yeah, his bookshelf must just be a big red flag.
Yeah, that's one of those ones where like you'd expect the person to be covered in Cheeto dust and Mountain Dew. Like, wrestling and serial killers, huh? That's
Oh, and next to the Cowboy Bebop wall scroll.
I was gonna say wrestling and serial killers is just sort of like the main interests of most couples I know in LA.
Wrestling and serial killers.
Yeah, this is my husband. He loves wrestling. This is my wife. She loves true crime. It's like fantastic. Good for you guys. You make one Martian Manhunter. So he's walking around, and some people are like, "Merry Christmas." To him as he's like walking around, and I'm like, oh, he's alone and it's late at night. Like, don't talk to that guy.
Yeah, don't speak to that dude.
Yeah, that guy looks like he's looking for people to make eye contact. Then he overhears this girl talk, like thinking about like maybe she doesn't believe in Santa and that maybe he'll come eat the cookies and stuff. So he goes to fix her day by turning back into his Martian form. And walking all over her roof. Tom.
And stealing her cookies.
Tom.
Was he trying to make her think that Santa was real, or was he really just going to go eat the cookies and anything that experience did for that little girl was just incidental?
Tom. He could have. He could have turned himself into Santa.
That's true. He could have literally turned himself into Santa.
Instead, he reverted back to his alien form. Just in case. Did he not want to blow his serial killer's cover? Like, there is a zero reason why he would revert back to that. Do you not fly if you are in the form of a human? Is that how that works? Because that can't work like that.
I need my cape.
And then he steals one of her cookies, which is like, it's an Oreo. And fun story about that is like, in the comics, it's like his favorite thing is Oreos.
Oh, okay.
So it's a nice little nod.
Yeah, he's like discovering them here.
Yes. But also at the same time, like, he's not really getting the backstory on this kid. Like, their parents die or something? Because she's really like distraught about the Santa thing. Yeah,
we're really just seeing the tip of the iceberg of some serious darkness, and Martian Manhunter just could not be bothered. It's like, I'm going to eat this cookie and fuck off.
He doesn't leave anything. All he does is stomp on the fucking roof.
Yep.
And then steal some of her food.
Mm-hmm. Like a burglar.
Which is fine. Like a gentle burglar.
Just a festive burglar.
A festive Martian thief. And then he flies to a church playing, I think it's like Let There Be Peace on Earth or something like that.
Some Christmas carol, yeah. Excuse me.
It's something. They're like singing a Christmas hymn. And he's like, oh, yes, I get it. Now I am with Christ.
Well, he also watches though, or earlier he watched some people go into a diner. Like I don't. Apparently, he like learned the Christmas spirit from these 3 interactions, and I'm not sure why.
Yeah. A couple eating dinner.
Stealing
a little
stealing
girl
a cookie
experience
from a child.
from a child in the middle of existential despair, and then just some people singing.
At church.
And he's like, "That's it.
I've
got
discovered
it."
the meaning of this season.
Now it cuts to the brawl in space, which is fun. It's just fun. It's just general. There's nothing really exciting about the brawl.
No, they're just
It's
beating
just
the shit out of everybody.
there's fights. That one dude really has it out for John, though.
He started it.
He fucking drills John in the face too. John does not get that shield up.
Well, it's funny when they cut to it. It's John has the shield up, and the dude is just punching it continuously. He's just like, eventually, I'm gonna punch through this thing.
I'm going to kill you. And you're going to
Just
die.
savagely attacking this shield.
This guy has it out.
Yeah, he is pissed.
Now it cuts to Flash and Ultra Humanite going to the orphanage, and Flash makes him wear a top hat. He's like, hey, maybe like a pulsing brain isn't something these children need to see on an ape wearing S&M gear.
Yeah, so dress up like a Dickensian snowman.
Yeah, he calls him Freaky the Snowman.
Yeah.
And then he's like, just give them the toy and bring me to jail. And then fucking DJ Rubber Ducky just has Ultra Humanite's voice telling the story of the Nutcracker while the fucking Dance of the Sugar Plum Fairies is going off. And the kids are like, this sucks. But they're like, oh well. And they start listening. And Ultra Humanite's all like proud of himself for like introducing culture to the, what did he say? Like the unspoiled or something like that? Or the uninitiated?
The untainted or the untarnished, something like that.
So Flash walks him back to jail, but he gave Ultra Humanite an old-timey aluminum Christmas tree and a light display.
It's a real Charlie Brown Christmas tree.
And it's a real Charlie Brown Christmas tree ending. Because he's fucking Ultra Humanite just stares at it and like remembers his childhood while he's in jail. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, oh, this is tragic.
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer.
It's really sad because he's just like probably thinking about like what went wrong and shit. It's like a whole thing. It's sad.
Just trying to take stock of his life and what happened.
Yeah. Also, Flash left him like a little light machine, and I'm like, oh, he's turning that into an escape mechanism already.
Oh yeah, no, he's gonna make some sort of device out of that tree.
That's gonna be shooting hard light real soon. So now it cuts to Green Lantern and Hawkgirl curled up in the arm of the guy that they may have killed. The big blue guy.
Yeah, they're like,
took him out.
There's no way. Like, okay, so the bar fight ended with everybody just sleeping at the bar, like in different piles of flesh.
I think
like, there's no way they didn't all fuck, right?
That there was it was a bacchanalian brawl. It was like something out of fucking Caligula. Like this thing it's just really uncomfortable.
Right, because John and a hot girl are like snuggled up in this giant guy's arm like teddy bears.
Yeah, he's asleep, and she kisses him on the cheek and goes, "Merry Christmas, John." Oh, you gave me what I asked for.
Damn it, I followed you across the galaxy for some sex.
And I'll be damned if I didn't get it.
I think that's it. It cuts that. There's one more
because then Clark wakes up and we hear fucking Martian Manhunter like...
Clark wakes up and leaps out of his bed. Like,
honestly,
he is so excited.
I thought he was gonna run, like fly down to the presence like a child at 6 a.m.
He springs like sprightly out of his bed. It's like, oh boy, it's Christmas.
Oh boy,
fucking Clark.
And then you hear John singing something in his like little Martian, language or whatever. And then Clark looks at his parents and he goes, and they said. What was he goes? Oh, and he said he didn't bring us anything.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I don't know. People are going to be calling the cops.
Yeah, it's this.
It sounds like a spell.
Yeah, it does. It's also like really mournful. It's just like his reaction to it is weird. Like it's like, he brought us a gift after all. It's like that could be like a funeral dirge or something. Like you don't know what he's singing about.
Yeah.
And it sounds
You're right.
like
It's
a
very,
bummer.
It's very mournful.
Yeah.
It's very at best, "Oh Holy Night" of Mars, and that's not a song that you're like, oh yeah, I fucking rock to this song. You're like, all right, I guess I got to reflect.
Yeah, I got to think about my life.
Yeah. And then Tom, that's a
That
sode.
is a sode, and
But ladies and gentlemen, don't worry because we got a little bit more content coming your way.
yeah, we don't even owe it to you. Like this is already
No.
a full length episode, but.
Yeah, we're just giving you a little bit of bonus because fucking why not? We love you. And next week we got a big one, 3-parter coming your way.
Yeah, and then it's just a matter of time until the goddamn. In just a few short weeks, Jeff, we'll never have to talk about Zack Snyder's Justice League ever again.
Do you think that's the case? Tom?
I hope. I don't know. I don't know if like in another
it's
4
like-
years we're gonna get the Snyder cut of the Snyder cut.
It's going to be like wildly successful. And then they're going to be like, all right, make more movies of the way you want or something. And then we're going to be stuck with fucking Justice League 2. It's going to be 6 hours long. Available only at drive-in theaters in black and white.
Yeah.
This fucking thing.
It's available exclusively on Viewmaster.
I'm going to be 100% honest, man. I am so glad that this isn't being released theatrically. Because there's
4-hour
0%
movie? Good God, that would be so hard.
This is already an insufferable concept.
Yeah. Like
4 hours.
4 hours. It was going to be 4 episodes, but now he's like, nope, it's one movie. It's like the fucking... Just, do you have any idea how long a 4-hour movie is?
I'm going to be 100% honest. I'm not even going to say anything about the quality of the film yet. All I'm saying is, who the fuck makes a 4-hour movie?
Right?
Tom, you got anything to plug before we get to the other stuff?
You guys know. You're listening. That means you're all beloved patrons, and we cherish you, every single one of you. We also have a store at tpublic.com/store/gameplanemployed. You guys know this. You know the drill.
You sure do.
You do. Now it's your turn.
Well, Sideshow is every other Tuesday through Sideshow Collectibles. My guest launching next week for the start of my 3rd year of doing the show is Paul Walter Hauser.
Wow.
You might know him from a bunch of fucking things.
Yeah.
Richard Jewell himself, Paul Walter Hauser. It's a really great episode. It's going to be really fun, so you're going to want to check that out. Obviously, last week's episode, the Riley Silverman, fantastic as well. Every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, you can check out Unsealed and Revealed, the live show I do with Sideshow, which is really fun. And of course, You Don't Even Like Sports, a sports podcast for people who don't like sports with me and Adam Todd Brown. The Maradona episodes are about to start coming out, and this guy is fascinating.
I don't know who that is.
He's a soccer guy, so it makes sense that you wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah,
'cause
that checks
who
out.
cares?
Yeah, because who gives a shit?
Who gives a shit about soccer? Yeah. That being said, everybody else, enjoy yourselves, and we'll see you next week for a big one.
Yeah. Man, take it easy.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, take it easy.
Sing the mournful song of your dead planet to a cat.
Oh, it's very sad.
I am so
with
sad.
this cat.
All right.
But maybe the Oreo did that to him.
He's just thrown into
I've
a horrible
been
depression
poisoned.
by an Oreo. I can't have sugar, no.
My Mars diabetes. No.
Marsabetes.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
I'm the rubber ducky with all the fly moves, rocking in his house with my tight grooves. Go rubber, go rubber, go rubber ducky.
Our artwork is produced by Justin Brown. You can follow him on Twitter at Justin T. Brown and find more of his artwork at artnessbyjustinbrown.com and justinbrown.info.